So we were here, we discussed till here when Gonzalo and Adrian, they were arguing that whether Carthage and Tunis are the same or not, right? Gonzalo is of the opinion that Carthage and Tunis are the same. Carthage is the old name of Tunis. So he says, I assure you, Carthage. So I assure you, trust me that Carthage is the same as Tunis. Antonio, his word is more than the miraculous harp. So he says that now see, I told you that here also an illusion has been used. So he says that his words are more powerful than the miraculous harp, the magical harp of Apollo. See what happened. This Amphion was a musician and he played that miraculous harp, and then the stones were charmed and the wall was constructed. Right, in Thebes, in the city of Thebes. Thebes was the name of a city in Greece. So in that city, when Amphion played this musical harp, it led to the construction of the wall on its own. Right, the wall was constructed because the stones were charmed, and then themselves they started placing themselves, and which ultimately led to the construction of the harp. So what this is what Antonio is saying, because there the wall was constructed, and here what has Gonzalo done? Gonzalo has created another city, right? That is Carthage, which is the same as Tunis, because he is saying this. So his word is more powerful than the miraculous harp. So his words are more powerful than the magical harp of Amphion, which was played by Amphion, right? So this is what he says. Sebastian, he has raised the wall and the houses too. Amphion, what did Amphion do? Amphion, when he played the miraculous harp, he was able to construct a wall. But Gonzalo is even more powerful. What did Gonzalo do? He created the wall and the houses, because he created an entire city, right? He's saying that Carthage and Tunis are the same, which is only his creation. So that is what, see, they both are mocking at Gonzalo. Says that what did Amphion do? Amphion used the harp of Apollo to make the wall, but this person Gonzalo has raised the wall and the houses too. The entire city has been made by him. So that is why he says that his words are. That is why Antonio says that his words are even more powerful than the miraculous harp. Antonio, what impossible matter will he make easy next? So now Antonio says, now what will he do? Now which other miracle is he going to perform now? He is such a great magician that he constructed the, see, they are ridiculing him, right? Now let's see what else will he make easy, which difficult task which will he undertake and make it simple. I think he will carry this island home in his pocket and give it his son for an apple. He says that I feel that now another miracle which Gonzalo will do is that he will carry this island on which we are at the present moment in his pocket and give this island to his son for an apple. Like a father, like a person giving apple to his son. So he will hand over this island to his son as an apple. And sowing the kernels. Kernels means the seeds of it in the sea bring forth many islands. And then what will happen? His son, Antonio says, and then his son will eat the apple, and after eating the apple, the seeds which are there, the leftover seeds of the apple, they will throw in the sea, and then new islands will come up on this sea. This is what will happen. Hey, hey, now he wanted to say something. He says, what are you people talking of? Right? They are making fun of him. So Gonzalo says, hey, means what are you discussing? What are you saying? Tell me. So Antonio says, why in good time? So Antonio continues with his discussion, with his speech, and he says, yes, in quite some time, he will definitely do that. Right? He will definitely bring forth more islands by sowing the seeds of the island which he will give to his son. So in due course of time, he will be able to do it. Gonzalo. Sir, Gonzalo ignores this discussion which was going on between Antonio and Sebastian because he again starts talking to King Alonso and he says, Sir. Sir is for King Alonso. We were talking that our garments seem now as fresh as when we were at Tunis at the marriage of your daughter, who is now queen. So he says, Sir, this is what we were discussing, that our garments, they are as fresh as they were at the time when we were in Tunis to attend the marriage of your daughter Claribel, who is now the queen of Tunis. Your daughter is now the queen of Tunis. When we were attending her wedding in Tunis, then obviously we wore new clothes and they were new and fresh and shiny at that time. So now, even after being drenched in the seawater, they appear to be very fresh instead of being stained. Antonio, and the rarest that ever came there. So then Antonio says yes, and she is the rarest. Here the rarest is used for the daughter because if you remember the discussion which was going on between these people, because Adrian said that Claribel is the rarest queen of Tunis because she was a European, right? So Adrian said, yeah, yesterday we did that speech where Adrian says that she is unparalleled or perhaps the best queen which Tunis has got in its history, right? So then this widow Dido thing started, right? Because this person, Gonzalo, started comparing Dido with Claribel. He was of the opinion that Dido was the first one and Claribel is the second most beautiful. After Dido, Claribel is the most beautiful queen that Tunis has got. He thought that Dido was the first one. So here is a reference to that discussion only. And so Antonio says, and the rarest that ever came there, and the rarest queen. It very rarely happens that an African king gets such a beautiful and such a fair queen. So that is why she is the rarest queen of Tunis. Sebastian, wait, I beseech you, widow Dido. He says, wait means except. You are forgetting, Sebastian. You are forgetting Antonio. You remember? Gonzalo pointed out. I request you, how can you forget widow Dido? Right? Again, they are pulling Gonzalo's leg. Right? Wait, except widow Dido. She is the best queen. You cannot ignore widow Dido because Gonzalo pointed it out. Antonio, oh, widow Dido, widow Dido. Yes, you are very right. Yes, widow Dido. Gonzalo, is not Sir my doublet? Gonzalo ignores this, right? He is able to understand that he is being mocked at by these people, but again, he ignores all this. He says, is not Sir my doublet? He continues further with his speech, right? Because he was talking about their garments, how fresh they were looking. And then in continuation, he says, is not Sir my doublet as fresh as the first day I wore it? I mean, in a sock. So he says, is not this dress which I am wearing, the doublet means this jacket, right? The close fitting jacket which was worn, if you see the attire in olden days in England, right? So they wore a very skin tight, close fitting jacket. So he says, and the jacket is a short also, right? It's not a very long one. So he says that my doublet is as fresh as it was on the first day when I wore it. I mean, in a sort. Means in a sort means in some ways, not actually exactly the same, but in some ways it is definitely as fresh as it was when I wore it for the first time. Antonio, that sort was well fished for. So now Antonio says, now he chose the right phrase, right? This was the best phrase, the very correctly chosen phrase. Sort of. This he says, na, in a sort means that in a way it is fresh, right? In a way it is as fresh as I wore. In a particular way it is as fresh as I wore it that day. Not exactly the same. In a sort here means not exactly the same, but in a way it is fresh. So Antonio says that sort of That sort was well fished for. The sort was well fished for means he has chosen this phrase sort of in a very, after a lot of efforts. That phrase was used after a lot of efforts, and Gonzalo has definitely made a lot of effort in choosing that phrase. When I wore it at your daughter's wedding. So again, he is waiting for an answer. He is going on repeating the same thing, right? In a sort, it is as fresh as I wore it in your daughter's wedding. So then a question mark. Question mark means he wants to know the opinion of Alonso, that whether Alonso also agrees to his statement or not. You cram these words into my ears against the stomach of my son. But Alonso is very irritated. Because he is in a depressed mood and he just wants to be left alone, right? He doesn't want to be disturbed. And Gonzalo is going on prattling, talking endlessly to him. So he says, you cram these words. Cram these words means you are forcing these words into my ears, right? Against the stomach of my senses. Stomach means against my inclination. I don't have any intention to listen to what you are saying. Against my will. Though I am reluctant to listen to whatever you are saying. I have no interest in listening. I have no inclination in listening to what you are speaking of, but you are going on and on and on endlessly, right? I told you so many times that I don't want to talk. I want to be left alone. I want to mourn the death of my son. But still you are not able to understand. You are just forcing your words inside my ears without my inclination or without my interest. Would I had never married my daughter there. Now he is repenting his deeds. He says, how I wish that I would have not married my daughter there, means to Tunis. Why? Because if he would have not got his daughter married to Tunis, then there would have been no voyage, sea voyage, and then no shipwreck, and then Ferdinand would have been alive. So that is what he is repenting now, right? So he says that I wish that I had not married my daughter to Tunis. For coming thence, my son is lost. I mean, thence means from where? Why? Because from coming, sorry, there. So why? Because while coming from there, I lost my son. My son is dead while we were returning from Tunis. So I wish that I would have not married my daughter to Tunis. And in my rate, she too. And in my rate means, in my opinion, I have lost my daughter also. Why? Because the daughter is now so far away that he will not be able to see her, right? Because see, those were the times when transport and communication was not the way we have today, right? Italy was far off from Africa. Naples was far off from Tunis. And so it would not have been possible for them to visit each other quite often. So that is quite, forget about quite often, like once or twice in a lifetime, that was okay, because it took days and days, even months to go from one place to another. So that is why he's saying that, and in my rate, she too. So in a way, I have not only lost my son is down, and I have kind of lost my daughter also, who is so far from Italy. Why? Because now I won't be able to see her. She is far away from Italy now. It will not be possible for me to visit her or see her. I never again shall see her. So I know that I will never be able to see my daughter even, right? I won't be able to see my son because he is dead, he's drowned, and I won't be able to see my daughter because I married her to a far off country. O thou mine heir of Naples and of Milan, what strange fish hath made his meal on thee? So then he's missing Ferdinand and he says that you, my dear son, who was the heir, who was the successor of Naples and of Milan also. You know that Milan was now a subordinate state of Naples. Milan came under Naples because of Antonio, right? So that is why he says that my dear son, who was not only the heir of Naples but also of Milan, what strange fish hath made his meal on thee? So what strange fish? What unknown fish? Here strange means unknown. Which unknown fish must have made you its food, right? Which strange fish must have eaten you? Which unknown fish must have swallowed and eaten you? Any problem till here? Now, what does Francisco say? Francisco is one of the members, right? One of the, you can say, courtiers of King Alonso, right? He was a part of that company. So he says, Sir, he may live. He is here referred to Ferdinand, right? Is a reference to Ferdinand. I saw him beat the surges. The surges means the waves under him. So Francisco says that, no, sir, I believe that he is alive, right? Don't say like this that he has been eaten by some fish. I'm sure that he has survived that shipwreck and he is alive. Why? Because I saw with my own eyes beat the surges, means fight the waves. Surges means the waves, the high rising waves under him. So he subdued the waves which were rising high, the waves which were roaring, which were rising up. He beat them he beat them under him and ride upon their backs. And I, with my own eyes, I saw him riding on those waves, riding on the back of those waves, riding on the top of those waves. He trod the water, whose enmity he flung aside. The water which was acting like his enemy. Why? Why enemy? Because the water was the water of the sea, the waves, they were trying to engulf him, trying to swallow him. So, whose enmity he flung aside. He flung aside means he disregarded the enmity of the water. The sea water, which was trying to act like an enemy and kill him, swallow him, he disregarded, he didn't pay any attention to it, and he was able to trod the water, means he was able to struggle the water. He was struggling against the flow of water to reach the shore and breasted the surge most swollen. Surge most swollen means the largest wave. Surge means wave, and swollen means when the wave will swell up, it will become large. So the largest wave he was able to face, and breasted means he was facing, right? He was fighting the largest wave of the sea. His bold head above the contentious waves he kept, right? And what happened? He was able to move forward with his bold head. His bold head was rising above the waves, was above the waves, and he was breasting, means facing, means fighting the struggling against the largest wave. Both the contentious waves he kept and oared himself. And what did he do? He kept his head bravely above the contentious waves. Contentious waves means the hostile waves, the waves which were his enemy. He was able to successfully keep his head, his bold head, his brave head above those waves, and oared himself with his good arms in lusty strokes. Lusty strokes means in powerful stroke. He, with his powerful strokes, his hands, he were acting like oars. Oars, those are sticks which are used to row the boat, right? So his hands, they were acting like his powerful hands were acting like oars, and he was moving his hands to reach the shore, right? He was moving his hands in powerful strokes to reach the shore, that over his wave-worn bases bowed, as stooping to relieve him. And even it seemed as if the shore also bent a little, it leaned a little. When he was very near the shore, when he was able to reach the shore also leaned downward or bent downward, so that he is able to come out of the water. The shore also, to honor him, what did the shore do? The shore also stooped a little so that he is able to land himself successfully to the shore, that over his wave-worn bases, right? Because he had struggled so much, he was so tired fighting those waves that the shore also bowed as a stooping to relieve him. So it seemed as if the shore was also stooping or bending to relax him and to help him easily come ashore. I don't doubt he came alive on land. So I don't have any doubt that he is alive because he came alive on this island. He was able to save himself. So I don't have any doubts about it. I'm very sure that Ferdinand is not dead and he is alive. Alonso, no, he's gone. But Alonso is so depressed and dejected that he says, no, you are wrong. My son is gone. My son is dead. He's not alive. Sir, now what does Sebastian say? Sir, you may thank yourself. Here, thank yourself means blame yourself for this great loss, right? Sir, you should blame yourself. He's talking to King Alonso. He says that you are the only one to be blamed for this great loss. We all these people, your son, us, everyone who is on this island in pain, suffering, all this happened just because of you. You are the only one to be blamed for all these things. That would not bless our Europe with your daughter, but rather lose her to an African. Why? Because you were adamant in getting your daughter married to an African, right? You are not interested in getting your daughter to getting your daughter married to some European prince. What do you think? We didn't have any good grooms for your daughter in Europe, but you decided that you will get your daughter married to King of Tunis, right? You didn't want to bless Europe with your daughter. You wanted to send her to Africa. You wanted to lose your daughter to Africa. So now why you are crying? You are the one who should be blamed for all these things which are happening now. Whatever you are suffering, it's because of your own deeds. Because you decided that you will get your daughter married to the king of Tunis, where she at least is banished from your eyes. And now it's because of your decision that she is banished from your eyes, that she is far away from your eyes and you cannot see her. What hath caused to wet the grief on it? And you have caused your eyes to grieve on it. The tears which you are shedding now is because of you only, because of your own decision. By sending her away to Africa, you have given reason to your eyes, you have given a cause to your eyes to mourn or to be saddened. Pray thee, peace. So Alonso cannot take all these, right? Because Sebastian is kind of criticizing Alonso. He's blaming Alonso that he is the only one who is responsible. And now he is sitting and crying. So Alonso says, pray thee, please. Please, it's enough. I cannot take it anymore. I request you. I beg of you, please be silent. Please be silent. Sebastian, you were kneeled to, but Sebastian is not someone who will stop, right? He says, you were kneeled to and importuned otherwise by all of us. All of us pleaded in front of you, were on our knees, right? We kneeled in front of you and we begged, pleaded otherwise. Otherwise means we were not interested in getting Claribel married to an African king, right? We tried to dissuade you from this decision which you took because we were against it. We were otherwise, we had a different opinion. We didn't want to send Claribel to such a far off country, right? All of us pleaded, all of us requested you, all of us begged you not to do so, not to marry your daughter to Africa. And the fair soul herself weighed between lothness. Lothness means unwillingness, right? When you don't like something, right? And obedience. So, and the fair soul is for Claribel, right? And even that fair soul whose life was being decided, that is Claribel, right? She also was in a dilemma. She was also not able to decide whether on one side of the beam was her unwillingness, that she didn't want to get married to an African king. She also was not interested in getting married to an African king. So her unwillingness and her obedience. Then at the other end of the beam, what was it? The obedience to father's wish, right? She was your daughter, so she had to decide. She was in a dilemma. She had to decide whether to give priority to her own wish, her own will, or to obey her father. At which end of the beam should bow, right? So these two things, her unwillingness and obedience as a daughter, they were placed on two scales, right? Two sides of the beam, and she had to, so she was not able to decide that which side she should bend, right? So in spite of the fact that she was not interested in getting married to an African prince, African king, but still she surrendered to your own will. None of us wanted that she should be married to an African king, but you were adamant, you were stubborn about it. We have lost your son. And because we were going, all of us were going to get your daughter married to Africa, if you would have agreed to our opinion, if you would have not been so adamant, then your son would have also been alive. We have lost your son, I fear forever. And now what happened? Because of your obstinacy, we have lost your son. And I'm scared to say, I fear to say that forever. Now your son will never come back. Milan and Naples have more widows in them of this business making than we bring men to comfort. And he says, and it's because of your stubbornness that now Milan and Naples, both, because all these people who are, he is thinking that all the people are dead who are on board the ship, right? All these people have died. Only 4 or 5 of them are alive. This is what Sebastian also believes, right? So he says that we are more widows in them of this business making, of means of this venture which we took. Because as a result of this voyage which we undertook, right, for the marriage of your daughter, what has happened? Milan and Naples both will have more number of widows than the men to comfort them. Then the number of men which we are taking along with us to comfort these mourning women, right? To comfort these widows, right? Because most of these their husbands must have died in the shipwreck. This is what Sebastian is talking about. Then we bring men to comfort them. The fault's your own. And who is responsible for all this? You are the one who is responsible for all this loss, for this great disaster which has taken place. Alonso, so is the dearest of the lost. And so Alonso says, yes, you are right. You are right. I am the one who is responsible. Everything was decided because of me and by me. So the loss also is the dearest. So the loss also is the acutest. My loss is the greatest because I have lost both my children now. I have no one to live for. I don't have any heir to the throne of Naples now. So, because I took a wrong decision, so I am the one who has suffered the greatest loss also. Gonzalo, my Lord Sebastian, the truth you speak doth lack some gentleness. He says, my Lord Sebastian, my Sir Sebastian, whatever, I know you are speaking the truth. Whatever you are saying is the truth. But it lacks some gentleness. But it is really rude of you to talk in such fashion at this time. And time to speak in it, right? Truth also should be spoken at a proper time, right? So whatever you are saying at the present moment, because King Alonso as it is very depressed, he himself is repenting upon his decision, and then he himself is repenting on what he. So Gonzalo says, my Lord Sebastian, the truth you speak doth lack some gentleness. Though you are speaking the truth, there is no doubt about it that everything happened because of King Alonso and his incorrect decision. But again, this is not the right time. You are rather being cruel by talking about these things at the present moment. This is not the right time. This is the circumstances are not very correct and authentic to talk about these things. The occasion is not appropriate to blame the king for all these things. And time to speak. You rub the sore when you should bring the plaster. What you are doing, you are rubbing the sore, the painful area, and making it more painful by doing this instead of applying the medicine. What should be done at the moment? At this moment, you should try to apply medicine, means you should try to console the king. So instead of, rather than consoling the king, what you are doing, you are blaming him. What will be the repercussion of this? His sorrow will be aggravated, his pain will be aggravated, right? So please stop doing it. Very well. So Sebastian says that very well. Yes, you are saying the truth. So, and then Antonio says, and most Kairarjunly means Kairarjun is the surgeon. Is a surgeon. Kairarjun is a surgeon. So he says, and he is doing it like a surgeon, right? What is the job of a surgeon? What a surgeon cuts the body of a person to heal it for the betterment of the patient, right? Though he uses a knife, though he is giving pain to the patient, but still the objective is to cure the patient, right? So the pain is caused with the objective of curing, with the goal of curing the patient. So that is what Antonio is saying, that though he is causing pain to King Alonso, but this will ultimately heal the king's wounds, right? This will ultimately help him come out of his sorrow, right? When once he will accept that he is the one who is responsible for what all is happening, at least he will feel better. This is what Antonio believes. It is foul weather in us all, good sir, when you are cloudy. He says it is really, we all of us become foul weather. Here, Gonzalo means that we all become gloomy, we all become sad whenever you are sad, right? When you are sad, because you are our king, so whenever you are sad, we also become sad. We cannot be happy and cheerful if our king is sad and depressed. Foul weather, very foul. So Sebastian says, yes. Now they catch another phrase spoken by Gonzalo, and he says, foul weather. Yes, he's bad weather, bad weather. So Antonio says, very bad weather. Now they start talking about the weather. Gonzalo had a plantation on this isle. So Gonzalo again changes the topic. And he's again trying to distract King Alonso. And he says, if I had plantation on this isle, here the word plantation means colony. If I had a colony on this island, my lord, and then he is interrupted by Antonio. Right? He's not able to complete his sentence. Antonio interrupts him and he says, what would he have done? He would have sown it with little seeds. So if he had colony on this island, if he had plantations on this island, what would he do? He would sow it with thorns, right? He would grow weeds and thorns on it. Nettle seed means they are thorny wild plants, right? With a lot of thorns in them. Sebastian, or docks or meadows, right? So or what else he will do? He will grow weeds and mellows on it. See, they are again trying to irritate Gonzalo, and were the king on it. So, but Gonzalo ignores. Right. All this while, you must have seen that Gonzalo is not answering or not replying to all those things which are uttered by Antonio and Sebastian. He is going on with whatever he has to say. His objective is to distract King Alonso, right? To make King Alonso cheerful, to console King Alonso. So he is talking. He is not discouraged even for once with all these things uttered by Antonio and Sebastian. So Gonzalo says, and were the king on it, what would I do? So if I were the king on this island, what would I do? Had I plantation on this island, if I had a colony on this island and I was the king on it, then what would I have done? So Sebastian says, escape being done for want of wine. So again he interrupts. He says that escape being done means he would have remained sober, right? Not have been in an inebriated state, in a drunken state, in an intoxicated state for want of wine, because there is no wine on this island. So you would have definitely remained sober as a king of this island because there is no wine on this island. So you have been in your senses. Now this speech is important, right? This speech by Gonzalo is important. They ask you, you have to learn this speech, right? We'll start with this speech tomorrow. It's almost time to end the class. If you have any problem, you can ask. Thank you.